Solveig is ready to go, and I just want to say one other interesting thing. She is simultaneously working for herself and an employee, so the contrast should create some questions for you to ask her.
Okay, so my business is as a figure skating coach, and I coach at Kansas City Ice Center, and I've been coaching since I was 15, and before that I was competing all my life in skating. And how figure skating works is the more tests and levels you compete at, the more qualified you are to coach after you retire or stop competing. And so not only do you have a better understanding of the skills and the nature of the sport, but you also get to raise your rate, which means you just get to make more. And here's just some pictures of me skating when I was really little. This is my sister. This is Ben Zobra's daughter, so that's really fun. And okay, so as I said before, I've been coaching since I was 15, but not until I was 16 did I actually start making money. And then when I was 16, I made a very low salary, only got 2 hours to work a week, but I kept doing it just to get my foot in the door. So when I turned 18, I was able to have a good reputation at the ice rink and just sort of build up my name at the ice rink. And so throughout those years before I turned 18, from when I was 15 to 18, I would help my the figure skating director, Kay, at the ice rink with the randomest tasks, even if it wasn't coaching kids. I would help her with paperwork or just clean up the ice rink or rent the skates out, just whatever she wanted for free, just so I'd build up a good reputation. And then, so this year I turned 18, and now because I've been at the ice rink for so long and a lot of these people have known me since I was 8, 9, whenever a new client comes in asking for a private figure skating coach, she gives them my name first. So that's really helped me build up my program. And, okay, so I'm guessing that the majority of you guys aren't ever going to be figure skating coaches, let alone have skated more than a few times in your life. But all of the skills that I've learned and that I need to have to run my own business, it can transfer over to anything you do, whatever business it is. So, the first one is communication is key. And my older sister also is a figure skating coach, so she helped me a lot with to build my communication skills and everything. So you need to build a good relationship with the parents of the student you're coaching, not only the students. And most parents have not a single clue about how skating works. And you have to always remember that you're the boss, you have to teach them too as well as the student, because skating is very complicated. And then also, what's really important, each skater has their own goals in the sport, whether it's just for fun or if they want to compete or do shows or anything. So it's really important to have a meeting with each one of your clients to discuss the skills and expectations and goals that they want to fulfill as you with their coach. And then also, the hardest thing I learned was knowing how to put your foot down. I'm only 18 years old, and it's really hard to talk to adults. Well, it was in the beginning. Now it's gotten a lot easier. But hey, you owe me this for that, and no, you can't be late. I'm still gonna charge you. So, in the beginning, I was a lot more lenient about all my rules. And I was just oh yeah, no, it's fine. You can just pay me next week, or it's okay. I can just take you extra, but now I came up with my own policy that if you're 15 minutes late to a half-hour lesson, you still have to pay me for the full half hour, because I've been there waiting, wasting 15 minutes that I could have coached someone else for, because my schedule is completely booked. And also, if you're not going to make it to a lesson, you have to let me know 24 hours in advance, because if you don't, well, unless your kid gets suddenly sick. But if you don't let me know and you just don't show up, you still have to pay me for those, that time missed, because someone else wants that spot for me to coach them in. So that was sort of awkward talking to parents about that to begin with, but like you just have to learn how to be really strict. And also you have to be reasonable. I had to stop skating because the sport is just so expensive, and most coaches charge like an insane amount per hour. So I've made it so I keep my rates lower than all of the other coaches at the ice rink. I'm also the youngest coach at our ice rink. And by being reasonable and working with everyone's budget and just like making sure that if your kid wants to skate, they can. And if like a person ever comes to me and they're like, we literally can't pay for this, like we can't afford it at all, like I'll be able to work with them and lower my rate for them just so they can keep skating. And then because of this, I've been able to be very competitive with a lot of the other coaches who have many more years of coaching experience than I do. So that helps a lot. And just like the first week right after I turned 18, I already had 4 of my own clients, and then that's just like built more and more. And that now like my sister's giving me all of her students, and other coaches are if they don't have time for them. And then just this morning, like I'll get random emails and be like, hey, we have 2 more kids we want you to coach. So that's really good. And then also, you just have to like not give up, because as I said in the beginning, sorry, that's sort of cheesy, but I only had 2 of my own students, and I live far away from the ice rink, so I was sort of like, is it worth it to spend all this gas money and to like drive all the way out there and just coach 2 little kids who were probably not going to go anywhere. But now like my program is a lot bigger. I have some very good skaters, and how I market for my company is basically through my skaters. If you have good skaters, or if your skaters have excelled a lot, people will just come in and see that your skaters are doing well, and they'll want you as their coach. And when I was skating, it was both my sister and I skating together. And when we moved closer into DC, like one of the best coaches there just moved there too, had no skaters. His rate was ridiculously high, but he was like, hey, I'll coach your daughters for free as long as they'll be here almost every day, all day. I was homeschooled, so I could skate during the day. Just coach them for free, and then that way, like, it builds up his program because they see us practicing with him on the ice, and they also, like, he gets to bring us to competitions, and they see that he has, like, good skaters, so then they'll want him as their coach, too. So, yeah, that's sort of how it works. And then here's my last one. I fell on the ice. That's it.
Questions,
Any
please?
questions?
Trying to think of something.
Yes.
How much do you charge for like half hour, an hour?
I charge $50 an hour. Yes.
Have you ever had to like turn students away because you've had too many?
So basically scheduling is really hard, and if I don't have time for certain students, I sort of pick favorites sometimes, and I'll be like, okay, well I could take you at this time because I already have a lesson here, but I usually can fit everyone in. It might just be a harder time for them to get there. Yeah.
Do you have to go to all the competitions with them?
Yeah, and you get paid for the competitions, and they pay for like your hotel room and everything like that.
How many students do you, or like, would you say you have per week?
Okay, so I work both through Kansas City Ice Center. Kansas City Ice Center, I make $15 an hour, and which is the maximum anyone can make. And I have group lessons through them, and I have about 40 students through them, but I make way less doing that. And then on my own I have like 12, and then I just got 2 more this morning.
How far away do you have to drive?
It's like 25 minutes. Yeah.
You have to rent the ice, like the rink? to get
Okay,
lessons
well,
in?
since I coach through Kansas City Ice Center, I get on the ice for free. So it's just like during public public sessions or freestyle sessions or club ice, which it's sort of all complicated. But basically the students pay for the ice and then I get on for free. So, yeah. Yes.
How do you organize?
Okay, organizing is really hard. Basically what I do is I send out a weekly schedule if people have, just through email, if people have confirmed their lessons, just like their name and the time slot, and if they haven't confirmed, I leave it open, and then I can just be like, if anyone wants a lesson on any of these open dates, they can fill it. But sometimes it gets really complicated because if like a time like won't work for someone, and then I like sort of try to switch it so I can fit them both in, and yeah.
For like the future, like, do you still want to do this, or like hopefully stop it one day and do something else?
Right now I'm not sure. My sister I know wants to do it all her life, and she has way more students than I do, and she'll be doing it all her life. And it also ties into her job. She's doing like exercise science and everything. So all of her figure skating students will go to her as a trainer eventually too. But I'm not really sure. It's a really good job, and a lot of the skating coaches at the ice rink that have a bigger program, that is their main source of income, and they can do very well in it. So I don't know. It just depends. Yeah, Dylan.
Do you mind sharing what your year-to-date income is?
Well, I've just turned 18 in September. So, like, how much I've made since then?
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Some people don't keep track of that kind of thing.
Like, I have it all written down, I just don't know the exact number in my head. One of the difficulties is getting enough ice time. Like, my hourly rate is really high, but I don't coach that many hours just because there's not enough public sessions and freestyle sessions, and there's a lot of hockey going on. So,
If you could give like a rough estimate.
like, I can give you like, yes, Bryce.
If you're not comfortable sharing.
No, I am. I'm just trying to think. Like,
how many lessons a week do you give to each kid? Is it just one, or is it like one every week? Or
most kids only have one lesson a week. When I skated, I had like, once they get older and more advanced, then they have a few a week. Like some kids have one every day. But right now, all of my kids are pretty young. I only have a few that are closer to my age. So when they're young, they can't come in the morning sessions, which is at like 6 a.m. So like, yeah.
Have you ever thought about just dropping out? Because I see a lot of money there. A lot of money.
Like I have, it sort of depends because the only college I could go to in order to keep this going is UMKC. So if I go to UMKC,
looks like you're going to UMKC.
yeah.
I love UMKC for 20 years.
So then I'll keep it going, but if I go someplace else, like I really want to go to K-State, but I'm not sure about that yet.
Yeah, so honestly, I would not even go to school because there's a lot of money there.
No, one of the coaches, he's like the main head coach, and he teamed up with my sister, and then pretty soon, once I get older, like I'm still so young, then he said he'll team up with me too. And he makes over like $100,000 a year. He was in architecture, and he just quit that. And he's like, I wasted so much money.
Are you having fun?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Is your sister in college?
Yeah.
So how does she do it? Like managing
She goes to K-State, or not K-State, she goes to KU, and she's just at the Edwards campus, so she has an apartment pretty close to the ice rink.
So does she drive like all the way back to do lessons, or is the rink closer?
Well, the rink is like 10 minutes away from her house,
Oh, okay.
and then the KU Edwards campus is also 10 minutes away from her
So
house.
would that be an option for you to like go to KU there?
Yeah, I could. I'd if I was gonna go anywhere, I'd go to UMKC and keep working. So. And then Dylan, I on average make like 300 a week, but it sort of just depends. And it also it's not as much as in the summer, and sometimes like kids get sick or whatever happens, or there's holidays, so it sort of just depends.
Do people do this sort of thing to keep up their sport in June and July? Like, are there ice skating rinks? I just don't even know.
Yeah, the ice rink is open all year.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, wait, you only can coach in the winter. I go, no, it's open all year.
It's like
Yeah.
the lawn business. You can do it 12
Yeah.
months a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like when I skated, when kids get older, the summer is just when you're there all day, every day. So when my kids get older, then my summers will be completely booked.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that like? I know, like you said, like you were homeschooled. So like, how did that work, like with your schedule? Because like I know you can kind of set your own like, school schedule.
So basically, when I grew up, well, I grew up in the country and there were awful schools there, so that was another reason why I was homeschooled. But I would go to the ice rink in the morning at like 6 a.m., skate until 8, go home, do all my schoolwork, go back to the ice rink, and just sort of work it out like that. It all worked out.
Can you give a few pros and cons on working for other people versus running your own thing?
Mostly it's just how much you make. You make so much more doing your own thing, especially in skating. Like I make almost 5 times as much. And also, I don't know, when I'm working for the ice rink, I'll have like 10 kids in a class. And when I'm working for myself, I only have 1. So I can just pay attention to them. I can also sort of choose my skaters if my schedule gets too busy. And there's a lot of crazy kids that I have to coach because they're just sort of like just all these random kids that like don't like skating,
Okay.
but their parents are just
Mom and Dad are
Yeah.
like, you will be a figure
Yeah.
skater, and the kid is like,
Yeah. So if you're doing group lessons, like it's sort of just for fun. But then if you're doing private lessons, and private lessons I do, that's not with Kansas City Ice Center at all. That's just me. Then it's like you're competitive and you want to go all the way.
Okay, so the quality of clients is
Yeah.
infinitely superior in your own situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess it's time to close.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure you push your chairs in, please.